ESPN's crazy predictions for the offseason is what we're talking about here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. They recently put out an article for all of the teams that are now in the offseason, and they made some predictions, and they went through a list of different things for each squad. Now, we're going to be reacting to the top priority that ESPN thinks is around the New Orleans Saints, the secondary priority, the latest on Cam Jordan, early draft outlook, and a very big prediction. ESPN insiders and team experts got together to collaborate on this, and I'm going to react to it and give my thoughts. Now, I want you to drop a like on today's video. If you miss watching number 6, go out there and shuck things up. I miss watching Tyler Shuck play on game days. I'm really, really excited for the regular season to get here in 2026. But all that being said, we got a busy offseason to get to, and let's dive into ESPN's predictions right now. So how we're going to do this is we're going to just go through each and every one of those topics we just talked about, talk about what ESPN's prediction was, and then I'm going to give you my take. So the offseason preview from ESPN. Then 2025, obviously, we know that the Saints finished with a 6-11 record, which was an improvement based on the 2024 year when they finished 5-12. So I got to say that's an absolute win for rookie head coach Kellen Moore and rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck. The final rankings in terms of their power rankings or their football power index, around 23rd. Estimated cap space, negative $26.5 million. Don't know where ESPN got that number. Spotrac has it around closer to $20 million over the cap. But needless to say, you're a little bit over the cap. And in 2026, your first round pick is 8th overall. So we're going to dive into each one of these topics right here, right now. Unfamiliar territory, though, for the New Orleans Saints. They do not have to operate under the mindset of, we got to figure out the coaching situation. We got to figure out the quarterback situation. You have stability in the most important parts of your squad, coaching staff, and roster. So right now, they can focus on the next phase of the rebuilding process, and they can turn things around and hopefully get this team back into the NFC playoffs. Now, we are really close to getting to 1,000 subs during the month of January, but I need your help. We're not even halfway there, but we're getting really close. 587 new Saints fans need to subscribe to the channel. We have 18 days to hit our goal, and without further ado, we're going to dive into the latest around ESPN. Now, the top priority from ESPN, they believe you need to make decisions on your veterans, specifically Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, and Taysom Hill. And it's no mystery that the New Orleans Saints have seen desires come out of Demario Davis and Cam Jordan to return next year. We know that they want to run it back. We know that they want to stick around in New Orleans. It's just a matter of, can the Saints make it work on their side of things? ESPN saying you got to make decisions about your veterans. That's the biggest priority. Linebacker Demario Davis will be 37 in January. Defensive end Cam Jordan will turn 37 next summer. Both have voiding contracts this year, but they have continued to play at a high level despite their age. The Saints will need to decide whether to bring them back, as well as 35-year-old Taysom Hill. If not, they could get younger at those positions. For what it's worth, I don't think that it's a bad idea for the New Orleans Saints to just let Taysom Hill ride off into the sunset. I do think in terms of the cap situation, it does make sense to try to find a way to get Cam Jordan and Demario Davis to return, partially because they're still very impactful on the field. The other reason, because they're very impactful in the locker room, and also because you can get a little bit of cap relief. Now, my predictions for this offseason. I think Taysom Hill is going to retire. I think Demario Davis is going to return. And I think Cam Jordan is going to end up returning as well. Personally, my top priority, I'm going to go against what ESPN said. I don't think it's figuring this situation out. I think it's actually just building around Tyler Shuck as a whole. And that isn't just on the offense. That's defense. That's everything. You have a really cool situation where you have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract where he's not making a ton of money, and you can invest in every spot on the roster except for the quarterback position, and you have the money to do that because he's on a rookie contract. So my number one priority is building around your rookie quarterback and Tyler Shuck and maximizing the timeline you have on his rookie contract. But it's time to challenge the status quo, and Polymarket is now live to to help us do so. You can be a part of the revolutionary alternative to sportsbooks with our invite code. Download Polymarket's new app now via the special link that is in the description and comments to unlock exclusive early access and a free $10 in your account with invite code CHAT. Polymarket is a prediction marketplace that lets you make trades on outcomes of sporting events, and you can see here right on screen, you can even buy and sell within a game with live trading. Polymarket has the lowest fees ever. You trade against the people, not the platform. And you can cash out at any time and react to momentum swings within the game. You are in control. It's legal and available nationwide in all 50 states on their iOS app now. For this week's playoff game, Polymarket is giving Seattle a 77% chance to win, which I think is really, really crazy. I'm on the Seahawks this week because I'm rooting for Rashid Shaheed to go host the Lombardi Trophy in the near future. $10 for free is waiting for you. No card, no deposit, nothing. Download the app today with our exclusive code CHAT at chatsports.com/polymarket for exclusive early access and $10 for free. Now, ESPN's secondary priority was my number one priority, just building around Tyler SHOUGH. And I don't think that it's a bad thing that ESPN had this as their secondary priority. I just find it a little bit more valuable to get the roster in order, and I know that you have to make big decisions on Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. I know that those are the decisions you need to make first, more than likely, but I don't think those are the biggest priorities this offseason. Now, Catherine Terrell, who does an awesome job covering the Saints for ESPN, said this: the secondary priority is surround rookie quarterback Tyler SHOUGH with a better offense. He was playing with a cast of backups by the end of the season due to injuries, but even a healthy Saints offense needs a refresh. The Saints need to get SHOUGH some pass catchers and build around him in free agency or the draft. And I don't think that that's a bad take whatsoever. I totally agree with Catherine Terrell. Regardless if you have a healthy or an unhealthy roster, the Saints need to get a revamp in the pass catcher department and honestly offensive weapons as a whole. I don't think this stops just at the wide receiver positions. I think that this is also, you need to get a new tight end too. You need to get some extra running back depth. The interior offensive line needs upgrades. You need to make changes all across the offense to protect Tyler SHOUGH and give him an opportunity to succeed. But don't forget, Jalen Polk is going to return from injury. Bub Means will return from injury. You have Mason Tipton still around. You have Devon Bailey returning from injury. Chris Olave returning from injury. So there are a lot of things that the New Orleans Saints are going to get back in relief from the injuries that were suffered during the season. However, I totally agree with Kat. You cannot be content with what you got. I would definitely look at a player like Elijah Surratt in the draft. I'm all in on that. And like I said, the interior line needs upgrades too. Mickey Loomis has been very aware and shown really nice awareness around that. He says that that is going to be an area they're going to pay a lot of attention to. And the big prediction is going to be around upgrading the offensive line. So stick around just a little bit longer. We'll tell you what it is. My secondary priority, let's improve the rushing attack. I think if you can improve the ground game, it automatically will open things up and make things a little bit better for the New Orleans Saints offense as a whole. In 2025, they were at the bottom of the league in terms of rushing offense. It was not good, and I demand upgrades. I demand better play on the ground, and whether that's getting a Jeremiah Love in the draft, or that's signing a Breece Hall, or that's Alvin Kamara just having a career resurgence, I could care less how that happens. The New Orleans Saints, though, need to do better on the ground. Some of that is interior offensive line. Some of that is on the offensive line as a whole. Some of that is on the play calling. Some of that is on the personnel you have in your roster, but you need to find ways to improve the ground game. That is my secondary priority. Now, the latest on Cam Jordan. Will he retire or will he return? I personally think that he's going to end up returning. And I think that a lot of Saints fans share that sentiment. And Dan Graziano, he actually had some thoughts around this topic as well. NFL insider Graziano says he could very well decide to retire. If he doesn't, will he fit into the Saints 2026 cap picture? That picture is cloudy as always, but it's impossible to imagine Jordan in a different uniform. And I do think he feels the same way. Either he retires or they find a way to bring him back. There is no way in God's green earth, there is no way in hell you will never, ever, ever see Cam Jordan in another uniform. He will only wear the black and gold. The only time you see him in another jersey is when you see it on Instagram with the jersey swap. That being said, there is a decision to make around Cam Jordan retiring or returning. The Saints need to find a way to make that work. Again, I think that he is going to return. I think that there is a lot of value with Cam Jordan, and I think that he has a lot of unfinished business trying to climb that all-time sack leader list and more than solidify the gold jacket that he'll be getting in Canton here in a few years. But when it comes down to Cam Jordan, I definitely think that he will end up returning, not retiring. But we'll have to see what happens. Now, the early draft outlook from ESPN, they say take the best player available. And for what it's worth, Mickey Loomis, Saints general manager, he has quite literally said the exact same thing. He has said in the end of season press conference that he feels like for the first time in a while, you don't need to focus on a specific position. They're in a spot where they can take the best player available, which I think is the right decision to do. Jordan Reed has this to share. Tyler SHOUGH has quickly changed the course of the rebuild as he looks to be the franchise QB. This has positioned the Saints to take a true best player available approach in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft with a top 15 pick. Remember, they're at 8 overall. They could add another wide receiver. Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson would provide the team with a true go-to target alongside Chris Olave. I am all in on drafting an offensive weapon in round 1. I am all in as a whole on drafting a weapon. Doesn't matter really what position. But when it comes down to my top draft targets, before we show you this graphic, I want to make something very explicitly clear. You have 7 other teams that are picking ahead of you. So you may or may not get to see Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate available. Caleb Downs may be off the board. Jeremiah Love may be gone. You may get the best player available being a player like Francis Mauigoa, and that would be a good selection. But my top draft targets, if any of these players are available on the board when it comes to April, you need to take any of them. I could care less which one it is. Take one of these 5 players. Carnell Tate will absolutely open up your passing game. Jeremiah Love will be a weapon on the Saints offense, and I think he would thrive in Kellen Moore's scheme. David Bailey could be excellent opposite of Chase Young learning under Cam Jordan. Caleb Downs could be a chess piece and a absolute X factor in Brandon Staley's defense, and Arvell Reese. Just a dominant weapon. I mean, where you want to talk about a dog, any of these 5 players would be barking out of the doghouse. Now, when it comes to my draft outlook, I think that drafting Jeremiah Love at number 8 overall, it would just be chills. Like, we're in a situation where maybe you don't necessarily draft a running back in a top 10 pick. I understand the reservations with that. But we've also seen the most successful teams in the NFL over the last few years that has evolved to teams that have a solid ground game, at least a great ground game. You don't have to have an elite running back, but you need to at least have a great one. And at least a good one. And no disrespect to Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, or Devin Neal, but we need players on the roster. We need to increase the talent level, and we need dudes that are going to be available. And quite frankly, I love AK, but he's making too much money this year. You're going to have to find a way to drop that number. You can add Jeremiah Love into the mix. You make Kendre Miller expendable. I think that these are all things that the New Orleans Saints should consider. Jeremiah Love would be chills with number 8 overall selection. I think the Saints would be lucky to have his services. Who do you want the Saints to draft in round 1? I totally get it if it's not a Jeremiah Love type player. I can totally understand if you want to go defensive line, or you want to go Caleb Downs, or you want to go and get somebody in the trenches. I just want to know who you want to draft. Share your thoughts and drop some names down below. All right, ESPN's big prediction, as promised. Made you wait a few minutes because that's what we do in the industry. Now, signing guard David Edwards was the bold prediction, the big prediction, the crazy prediction that ESPN made for the New Orleans Saints. I think when it comes to investing in the offensive line, I would much rather sign a player like David Edwards than draft somebody early. I think that it would be much more beneficial, and it would allow you to go and draft a player like Jeremiah Love, but David Edwards would be an excellent addition. Ben Solak thinks the exact same thing. The Saints will sign ex-Bills guard David Edwards to a big deal as he's the lone exciting player who could be available in the guard market. The O-line is a sneaky solid group when center Eric McCoy is healthy, but it needs better guard play. I mean, that's exactly the situation. You have your center in Eric McCoy. He's a dog. He's great. You have your tackles in Tyler Seifuaga and Calvin Banks. They're great. You just need to get the guard situation figured out. And I would love to sign David Edwards. In Pro Football Focus, this past season, in over 1,000 snaps, put up really, really impressive numbers. And throughout his career, over 5,000 snaps at the left guard position. He has 542 snaps at the right guard position. He has a handful at the tackle spots as well on both sides. So he has versatility. When it comes to the Saints, even if you do bring back Cesar Ruiz, you can play David Edwards at the left guard spot, and you're at least more situated and more comfortable in the interior than you are with Dylan Radins and Cesar Ruiz. I just think it's an upgrade regardless of where you have him play, and I think that that's a move that the New Orleans Saints absolutely need to make. I'm totally okay with investing in a player like David Edwards. Now, my big prediction, I don't like it. I don't necessarily want it to happen, but if you draft Jeremiah Love, how are you going to roll with 4 running backs? That's a very hard thing to do. I think if you draft Jeremiah Love, or even if you don't before the draft, the Saints could look to cut Kendre Miller. And I think that that's something that New Orleans and Kellen Moore will consider. He was not the coach that drafted Kendre Miller. Kendre has had a hard time staying on the field. I am a massive, massive, massive Kendre Miller fan. I will support him regardless if he's on the Saints or another team because I just like his game. But the problem is there's not enough of his game every single season. He cannot stay healthy. He has not proven to be reliable in that regard. And the best ability is availability. And if the New Orleans Saints want to make changes to the running back room, let's just say you draft Jeremiah Love, you cut Kendre Miller, you make AK the running back rotation with Jeremiah Love, and you have Devin Neal as well. And then you have Audric Estime or somebody down below. I mean, I just think that you don't need to cut Kendre Miller, but that is something that New Orleans could consider. He could become expendable, especially if the Saints add to that position this offseason, whether it's Breece Hall, Jeremiah Love, Travis Etienne, or whoever it could be. Kendre Miller, my big prediction, he could get cut this offseason. Now, if you enjoyed today's content and you want more Saints updates, highlights, memes, content, coverage, interactive stuff every single day, I post on all major platforms, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search me up, Trizzy Trace, or you can click the links down below in the comments or description of this video. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling with us here on Tuesday afternoon. Y'all stay golden. For Loco Lopez, have a great evening. We'll see you next time.